Hey there, Combatant Nation and the A-Bird Freedom fam. So, today, let's go ahead and take a look. And I'm going to go over some of what I look for when I purchase a used pistol. So, I got my nicotine. Couldn't be safe there. Got my caffeine. I got my guinea pig. So, just like with anything, the first thing we're going to do is remove that source of feed. Lock that slide to the rear. Visually, physically inspect. Go ahead and double check our magazine. I'm going to pretend as if somebody was selling me this Glock 19X at a gun show, let's say. Somebody was walking around and they wanted to part ways with it. So some of the things I'm going to go over in no random order. The first thing I like to start with is what is the story behind the sale of the pistol. If it's a case of where, you know, I bought it, I really just don't like it, I shot wazzy whoop number of rounds through it. Okay, great. So, or it's a case of where, you know, I've had the pistol for a while and, you know, I really like to shoot it and I've only put 200 rounds through it, but I've owned it for 5 years. Okay, well, we're going to see about that because, let's just cover this one right now. Check the story. Pay attention to the story. If there is a lot of chitter chatter every time you look at something, they push you, the person selling the gun takes you over to something else, as if they start to talk heavily about the 3-dot sights that are on this 19X. When you start asking them about round counts, what ammo you were shooting in it, so on and so forth. But let's go ahead and wipe the sweat off my hands. So I usually like to start in the frame with a Glock. Same thing with, say, a 1911. With a 1911, I start to look at grip screws. I want to see if somebody's been using a proper screwdriver. Also, is the grip cracked around the screw where it's been over tightened? But just like on this Glock frame, I'm going to look at my takedown pins. So I'm going to go to the mainspring housing pin. This one I'm going to go to the locking block and the trigger pin. I want to see, has somebody been in there beating around with a punch that doesn't know what they're doing? And then also, too, I'm going to take a quick look at that trigger. Is it the factory trigger? Cool. And then, it's going to be hard to see, but you can actually see down into the actual, I'm just going to call it the workings for better lack of terms. But if you start to see a bunch of shiny stuff, bent stuff, pieces of stuff, these are all indicators that something is wrong. Also, an abundance of stock parts in a plastic bag in the pistol case. The pistol case, let's go ahead and knock that out right now, too. I like to see how much of the original accessories came with the pistol are still with it. Owner's manual, speed loader, bore cleaning brush, everything to see how the pistol was kept, because somebody that maintains all of that, say for a few years, generally like the pistol. Maybe they truly just don't like it anymore. I'm going to go ahead and pop that recoil spring out. Has it been upgraded? Go ahead. I like to go ahead and get the barrel out. That's going to give you a chance to look at the end of the barrel where it passes through the slide. Is there a lot of heavy wear on the inside of my slide? I'm going to go through and I'm going to look things over. I'm going to look at that back plate. Is the back plate an aftermarket aluminum one instead of a polymer one that's now wearing on the bushing for the extractor? I'm going to look. Everything looks pretty good. I'll go ahead and I'll interact back and forth with the customer. One thing I have noticed is that when somebody is wanting to sell their firearm, in amongst all the talk and the chit chat and the back and forth and the questions and the looking at screws and triggers and mag releases, mags. I like to see OEM mags. Has somebody done a lot of stippling? And then I'll also look, speaking of stippling, and I'll look and I'll actually grab the firearm and then I'll look at these areas to see, is there a lot of wear? Is there a lot of hand oil? These are going to tell me if the story of, say, a low round count is legit. And then one thing I like to do is I like to put the slide on excessively slow just to kind of get a feel for, is there a lot of wear? Is there a lot of play? I'll go to the sights. I'll try to push them around. Especially on a Glock front sight. Is it loose? Can I move it? Is that little screw slash bolt that goes up from the bottom, is it possibly loose? Has somebody put sights in and they drifted them in with a steel punch? Is there a bunch of scarring in the channel around the sights? So just kind of things I like to look for. And as we all know, the slide passes over the chamber or the barrel hood, or however you want to say that. It doesn't matter. You're basically looking for excessive wear and also tinkering, tampering with. And then go ahead and ensure that magazine is empty. What I like to do, especially with a Glock, is I will actually grab the trigger and not depress, we're going to call it the dingus or the trigger safety, and make sure that that trigger doesn't take off on its own. I want to go ahead and make sure that it does get a solid press. I get that reset. Basically, condition is everything, and after a while, condition will start to tell you if the story you're being told is actually factually true. So, yeah, it was fast-paced. I wanted to keep it quick, simple, down and dirty, just some things to look for. And hopefully something in there will be something that maybe you hadn't thought of. But better yet, this is a group effort, everybody. So go ahead and go in the comments. If there's something that I missed that you check, go ahead and put it in there. I'm not going to fully do a massive disassembly down to a bare frame in front of a customer. But this is also why, like with these police training pistols, I do the 5-minute review videos. Because I try to get all my used pistols out and shoot them so that I can tell a potential customer, I have fired that weapon. No, I cannot tell you the round count. This is a condition I saw. Maybe the mag release was lazy. Maybe the slide stop was lazy. Maybe I replaced the slide lock or the takedown lever. I'll tell you that. So, in a nutshell, just some quick things to look for. Stay on the lookout. Hopefully, some of this will help some of you in your next purchase. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. We're going to go ahead and move more into these type of videos. We're going to move at a fast pace. Keep these videos under just a few minutes. There's no need for a 20-minute video on a handful of things to check. I will do a 1911 breakdown because in that pistol, there's a lot more things that I look for. Everybody stay safe. Don't forget to hydrate.